Welcome back to the shop. Today we are going to take a look at some more screwdrivers. And this time it's a newer version of the Channellock screwdrivers. I know before we looked at some Channellock screwdrivers and they were like an older clearance model screwdriver, and I think we'll compare these to those and see if the newer is better. Now let's just take a look at some of the packaging here. These new ones say they are 100% made in USA, which is great. Say they're magnetic. I don't know how I feel about that just yet. I don't always like magnetized screwdrivers. Let's see what else we got here. Reinforced three-sided handles. You can see they are kind of a trapezoidal. Ugh. There we go. You can see they're kind of a trapezoidal style handle, which should say triangular, not trapezoidal. Anyway. Machine tips, precision, sure. Rugged tri-alloy. I guess they have their own witch's brew of steel that they're using on these, which a lot of manufacturers do. That's not overly surprising. Vibrant polished metal, which, you know, goes a long way. It's nice. Magnetic tip, like I said, I don't know how I feel about that one just yet. Heat stamped, which might be good for hardness. We'll see if these are any harder than the originals, or maybe not originals, but previous version. Channellock blue, so you know indeed it's Channellock. There they are. And 100% made in USA with USA steel, so that's kind of cool. So let me get some of these out of here and get this glary package out of here, and we'll take a look at them. And we're back. So let's take a look at these. Right off the bat, they're pretty nice. I mean, I do like the handles on them. They are a nice triangular. It's hard to get on the image here, but I can tell they're magnetic. They just stuck to each other. So I'm sure this will be, look at that now, that's the cleanest it will ever be. Anyway, they got their logo in there. USA made stuff, cool. Part number there. And warning, use your safety glasses. Oh, this is kind of neat. In the end of it, it says flathead quarter. Let's see what we got here for, yep, flathead 3/16. Phillips number 2. And Phillips number 1. That I kind of like, because that's one nice thing that the Kleins had, but the paint always comes off of them. It kind of tells you what it is, so when you have it down in your tool bag, you can just look at the top of the handle and know what it is. The original, or I should say the earlier variant to the Channellock screwdriver, did not have that, so it's a nice upgrade. These handles are not as bulky, I do have to say. It was one of the things that I liked about the old Huskies that I had in the Channellock previous video, and you can see that right here. That they were triangular. Actually, the triangular handles kind of work nicely for leverage. So these not being rubber either, I don't know if the plastic will get nasty over time, but it feels like a pretty good quality plastic. Does not feel like it's gonna like shatter, so that's cool. So let's take a look here. The metal does seem very well finished, which is good, because some of my beef with new Channellock tools is the finish is not as nice as it used to be. And let me show you what I mean. Okay, so these will not be screwdrivers, but you will get the idea of what I'm talking about. So here is an old Channellock set of pliers. It's a needle nose pliers. It's a 3078. And it's really a finely made tool. I mean, everything closes wonderfully. The grinding is just superb. Everything, it's like a mirror. I mean, this is a very, very finely made tool. It did not have rubberized handles in the time where this was made, but that's okay. I mean, that's a quality tool. Everything made very well. Now, its modern counterpart, the Channellock Nut 738. It's still a nice tool, but you should start to see the subtle differences here. See how all the corners on here are nicely rounded. Very nicely rounded. Nothing really sharp. It's all with a nice fine grinding wheel. Very well done. This is a lot more rough. You can see everything's just kind of kissed with a very coarse stone. I mean, it's shaped and it's decent. It's still a good tool. I mean, it fits well. It's got rubberized handles. It's upgraded that way. And the width of the handles is actually a little more than it used to be. But it's just, unfortunately, the fit and finish is just not as good as the older versions. Still a nice pliers, and I still use them, and I enjoy them. But you can see the cross hatching there, and let's compare to the original cross hatching here. So they're akin to each other. Now the older set has been used probably a little bit more, but you get the idea. They're similar, very much identical pair of pliers, but one, for me, is more desirable than the other. So anyway, we'll put those off to the side. So it's actually very welcome to see on these a nice finish. Now the other version was chrome, but this is, I think this is not really treated metal, and it's got a very nice finish on it. So Channellock, if you're listening, I get it. It costs money to finish stuff more. Maybe an Elite series or something. I don't know. But the nicer finish to me does speak to quality. So anyway, let's see. It doesn't seem like we have any different coloring on the tip at all. I think the other set did. Let's take a look at the number 2 Phillips. Same thing. Very nice finish on the steel. The flutes on the Phillips are nice and crisp. Very nice. We do not have different coloring on the tip itself. You know, like Klein or Ideal, they'll have that different color tip on them, and that's okay. If they're hard enough, it doesn't really matter. The old Western Forges didn't have any of that, and everybody's got them everywhere. So let's take a look at the 3/16 straight here. Same thing, very nice, crisp corners, very nicely ground. And our number 1 Phillips, same as the number 2, very nicely done. I think that's a pretty high quality screwdriver. So let's compare them to the others. The others, here's the variant that we picked up on clearance. You can see this is chrome. It has a different color tip here, but it's not bad. It's not bad. These are both 6" quarter. Here's something that I do like about the Channellock screwdrivers, and we'll compare to a newer Craftsman. This is a beater I have in the shop here. It's not a Western Forge, but this will illustrate what I'm talking about very well. You can see these are both 1/4" screwdrivers, but one is thinner than the other. And that's actually really good to have in your bag of tricks, because you can see they continued it on with the other set. The other set was this way as well. Sometimes when you go to put your screwdriver in a hole, this trapezoidal, now here's the right use of that word, this trapezoidal shape will actually keep the screwdriver from getting in. Now, it does help with strength so you don't twist your tips all up, but it also, you can see the width of everything here. These are a slimmer profile screwdriver. So they may not be as robust, but depending on what you're doing, this is really going to be handy. So this is a really good set of screwdrivers to have in your stuff, because you can get them into more spaces. You may not be able to torque them as hard as the others, but they'll get into areas the others don't. And this is why you end up with a ton of tools. So, let's take a look at how hard these are and if there's an improvement. And to do that, we have a hardness tester set that you may have seen on a video that may be up here. I don't know. And we'll see how hard these are. So let's start with the previous variant that was recently canceled. And let's see here. So, it's making marks, but it's not really digging in. It's just making marks. Now the chrome should be pretty hard. That's still just kind of scratching the surface, but it might be getting close, the 45. We're going to go up to the 50. No, that's still glossing over the 50. 55. Okay, now we're scratching it. So this is between 50 and 55, which is decent for a screwdriver. You don't want screwdrivers too hard because they get brittle then. So starting with where the other set was, 55, let's see how the new set does. We're kind of just sliding here, so I think they got harder. Now I'm probably magnetizing my hardness files, which makes me happy. Yeah, so they went up a little bit. These are between 55 and 60. So that's kind of cool. They're just a little harder. You can see we made a mark there. They're just a little harder than the previous version, and that's not bad. And just to show, this is a much harder screwdriver that is actually somewhere between 60 and 65. We actually have to go up to the 65 here, and then we start to make a mark on this one. So this is actually a harder still, but this is actually designed to kind of be the ultimate beater screwdriver. So it may be used as a screwdriver, which is very well ground. And you can see that's that linear profile head. It's a very well made tool. These are not cheap though either. So, but this is kind of like the ultimate beater screwdriver. Anyway, so these are a little harder, which is actually good. It's an upgrade from what the others were, and it's nice to see some development in the tools. So here's the older variant and the newer variant. This is the 6A, that is the 6H, if you're wondering. So they're both S14 6s. It's quarter inch, 6-inch long. This is A, this is H. I have no idea if there's any other B, C, whatevers. But yeah, there's your branding, made in USA. This one does not have protect your eyes on it, so you could be a little more froggy with that, I guess. Anyway, this is how they compare this way. I guess any of them don't really have a problem. If you grab them with the pliers, you'll just mar them up, that's all. It's not normally stuff like this. If you're getting the pliers out to force them more, there's going to be some carnage. So these are a pretty nice set of screwdrivers that seem to be right in between Rockwell 55 and 60, which is pretty nice. The older variant was between 50 and 55, so a little bit of an upgrade there. And I guess as we look at some more stuff, we could compare that. We could do some videos in future, maybe comparing hardness to screwdrivers, and maybe some feedback if people are shattering them. I know the Klein multi-screwdrivers, a lot of times you can really damage things. Like, I love these screwdrivers to just throw in your pocket, but these straight tips, I've broken quite a few. If you get off center or something like that, these break pretty easy. So Actually, curiosity has the better of me. How hard are these? Let's start at 60. Yeah, these are actually pretty hard. 60's kind of digging in. Yeah, so I'd say these might be on par. No, I think these are a little softer. So this is a little harder still. And that's always the trade-off with things that are hard. They break easy. And I have broken a few of these tips. All that aside, back to the Channellock screwdrivers. If you get a good deal on these, like I did, I think these are a pretty nice set of screwdrivers. I'll throw them into the rotation here in the shop. We'll get some use on them. We'll see how strongly magnetized they are. Maybe I'll play around with trying to demagnetize them. I don't always like magnetized screwdrivers because when you work around metal, they get pretty furry, and that gets to be annoying. So I don't always magnetize screwdrivers, and I don't always like magnetized screwdrivers. But to each their own. You can see it is indeed magnetized. I think if I can... It's not significant, but it's there. So anyway, 4-piece set. Pretty nice. This was a 6-piece set, but truth be told, if I have a nice longer screwdriver to use, I'm going to be picking this up over the 4-inch long version of the 1/4 inch anyway. So maybe kudos on them for not even putting the others in, because I don't know. Let it in the comments. Do you prefer longer shank screwdrivers or shorter ones? I know it matters sometimes what you're working with, but if depth isn't a problem, what do you go for? I favor the longer ones. Keeps your hands out of the workplace and keeps the knuckles from getting ripped up. So I hope this was interesting. We figured out the hardness of the newer version. We took a look at a few things in the evolution of Channellock, and hopefully some of these neater fit and finish practices continue on. I would really like to see that. There's not a lot of American-made brands out there yet, and these being completely made here in America, it's pretty cool. I think these are also Pennsylvania made, so if you're in that part of the world, it's kind of like the hometown team. So I hope this was interesting, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks a lot, and have a great day.